adding Cousins with a one-year deal for $5.3 million. He was fantastic last year, averaging 25 points per game playing with the Pelicans, but his season got cut short by that torn Achilles. He averages 22 points, 11 boards for his career, and he gives the Warriors a post presence that has been the only thing lacking during their run the last 4 years. For more, let's bring in Marc Spears, who actually spoke to DeMarcus Cousins in the wake of this deal. What did he tell you, Mark?
Well, he told me he was shocked, and all these major free agents, and he was one of them, got to 12:01 on the beginning of free agency. He had no offers. And I'll repeat that again. He had no offers, not from the Pelicans, not from nobody. And so he was very confused, very distraught. On early Monday morning in Vegas, he got on his balcony and really thought about things at 5 a.m., called his agent, and decided he had to play the ace that he had, and that ace was the Golden State Warriors. Around 8 a.m. Pacific this morning, he called Bob Myers. He called the Warriors general manager and said he was willing or interested in taking the mid-level exception. So after talking to Steph, after talking to Draymond, who's vacationing in Greece, and after talking to Kevin Durant, he decided that with their excitement about him potentially coming, that he wanted to be a Golden State Warrior and took the mid-level exception to do it.
All right, so now he's coming off the Achilles injury. What's the timetable looking like for him to return to the court?
Well, and you're talking about a four-time All-Star here, too, going with 4 All-Stars.
Right.
But what he told me a couple months ago was he expected to be ready for the beginning of training camp, and people kind of scoffed at that. And so I asked him about it tonight. I said, okay, how's your Achilles? You still talking beginning of training camp? Check out his videos on Twitter, on Instagram. He's running on a treadmill. He said he expects to be ready for training camp and ready to go next year. Now, the Warriors may feel something different about it. They may want him to rest. But Cousins adamantly says that he'll be ready for the Warriors' start of training camp.
So it seems like the read on this is that he's coming off the Achilles injury, and he wants to play himself back into full health. And
his thing was, this was the best of a nightmarish scenario. You have no offers. Okay, so what do? He probably could have conjured up a decent deal with a bad team. This guy is tired of losing. I'm in Sacramento where he lost a lot of games. He's ready to win. He wouldn't give me details of who else he talked to or considered for a mid-level, but he is super ecstatic. Obviously, the money isn't something to be ecstatic about for him, but he's super ecstatic about being able to play. As he said, I get to play with the champions. And for somebody that's lost as much as he has to potentially win a championship, it certainly makes the ease of losing so much money easier.
All right, Marc Spears with the latest on the DeMarcus Cousins signing. Mark, we appreciate it.
All right, Stan.
All right, so NBA Twitter is always the best, and they're having a blast with it. You saw Steph Curry. He's already called him the third Splash Brother. Joel Embiid, if you're not following him, you're not doing it right.
He has to weigh in.
He said the NBA is nuts, also the best league. Then there's still time to change your mind. And he also says, let's pull a DeAndre Jordan and just trust it. You remember Jordan backed out on that deal with the Mavs.
For perspective, let's bring in our Michael Wilbon here on SportsCenter. Michael, what's your reaction to this news?
This was wow. This is a different kind of surprise. LeBron going to L.A. wasn't a surprise. We knew there was a limited universe of places that he might go. Boogie Cousins going to Golden State, I don't think a lot of people were thinking about. Last night we were talking about the possibility early in the evening of him joining LeBron in Los Angeles. And now to go to the Warriors, it's also a wow because the element that the Warriors had not had was a big man who can do everything. I realize Boogie Cousins, of course, is coming off of an Achilles tear. If he can come back and be close to himself, the player that we saw last year where he was averaging more assists than anybody playing that position since Wilt, it brings several dimensions to the Warriors that they hadn't had, and they don't have to depend on him. They don't have to get a certain kind of performance from him every night. But if he goes out and delivers anything approaching what we saw last season on any kind of semi-regular basis, that's an enormous upgrade, it seems to me, from what the Warriors have had there.
Yeah, this could be a classic case of the rich getting richer. And, Michael, as you very well know, the NBA is the least or most predictable of all the sports, as you say, largely because of the best-of-7 format. What would you like, if anything, to see changed?
You know, I'd like to see, speaking
bóng đá cần năng lượng và tỉnh táo, hãy uống Number One. Hãy uống Number One để tăng thêm sức mạnh, tỉnh táo tức thì, cuồng nhiệt xem bóng đá. Các anh hãy theo dõi bọn em ở đây nha.
Speaking of format, I'd love to see the league go back to best of 5 in the first round. That's probably the only change. And I think the finals, if we're talking about travel, I'd love to see 1 through 16 seeding. Do away with the conferences. I know Adam Silver has said travel's the issue, but LeBron's joining the Western Conference, moving to the Western Conference, could be the tipping point in that. But I think all of these things are going to be on the table for discussion, particularly among the Western Conference teams, looking at some of those teams that could win 49, 50 games, possibly be left out of the playoffs.
Yeah, Denver Nuggets were one of those teams just missing the playoffs a season ago. Of course, Paul Millsap injury contributed to that. That's our Michael Wilbon joining us here on Sports. Joined the free agent frenzy, signing DeMarcus Cousins to a one-year deal for just over $5 million. Remember, Boogie's coming off a torn Achilles with no definitive return date, but the defending champs do add a guy who's been named All-NBA twice. And for more, let's bring in Brian Windhorst. All right, this is not as simple as 5 All-Stars from last year's on opening night for the defending champs. What more can you add?
Well, this obviously was the type of free agency move that is extraordinarily exciting, right? A lot of people are like, oh, my God, the All-Star team added an All-Star. It's amazing. What we have here is the two sides leveraging risk. Boogie just didn't have offers. He didn't have offers because he's coming off a devastating injury that, frankly, is career-threatening. And it's very unfortunate that it happened to him in a contract here. And then, obviously, it's obviously an incredible opportunity for the rest of their team to, rally around the moment. It's something that brings a lot of freshness into the season. That's something that the Warriors are really thinking about.
Right.
And they can rally around him during the year. We have to realize here, this is a very serious injury. It's typically a 12 to 15-month recovery time frame. Not necessarily to where you're back on the court, but where you're playing like yourself again. Now, last year, we saw Rudy Gay come back in 8 months. He hurt the injury. He hurt himself in March, came back for training camp. That's abnormal. DeMarcus is hoping he's going to be fine. We're just going to have to wait and see. But they didn't give him a $100 million contract. They didn't even give him $10 million. And for Boogie, if you're going to spend a whole year rehabbing, why not spend a year having fun around the Warriors, competing for a championship and have a great chance to win a ring? It's a great risk-reward for both sides, but it is not reshaping what the Warriors are going to look like. They're definitely going to still be the same team. They're just going to have this guy potentially joining them late in the season.
Warriors were already less than even money to win the title next year in Vegas. The odds did even swing further, less than even money. Yeah. Let's talk about his former teammate, Rajon Rondo, joining LeBron. Now, when we knew about LeBron going to the Lakers, we're thinking maybe Kawhi Leonard and or Paul George. Instead, it's Rondo, Lance Stevenson, JaVale McGee, a cast of characters, for lack of a better word.
That's good.
What are you hearing in NBA circles in terms of a reaction?
Talking to league executives out there, they don't have any idea what the Lakers are doing. These are not conventional moves. This is not the way the teams have built around LeBron for the last 8 years as he's gone to the finals. It's low on shooting, low on, guys who fit together. It is high on guys who are fearless. I'll give them that. But I will say this. We're still early in July. Things can happen. There can still be trades. The Lakers are not a complete team yet. They have some other, things that they can do. But as far as the immediate moves after LeBron, these are going to be scrutinized for months because they had a window to do a lot of things here. And the path that they've taken, let's just say, is a little bit thorny and a little bit unexpected.
NBA personnel. I don't know what they're doing. Brian Windhorst always knows what he's doing. Joining us.
I think you're all right.
Who are you, DeMarcus?
The third splash, brother. I don't get that on camera, right? We gotta get this right. The third splash, brother.
We're still taking applications, don't worry. As you see, that was 2014, and Steph Curry tweets in 2018, the third splash, brother, let's go. He is indeed joining Golden State. And this was one of those things where everybody's reaction was, wait, what? Including Jaren Jackson, who we showed you a little bit earlier, who showed out for Memphis. And then he was told the news after his rookie league debut that Boogie Cousins is joining Golden State. And here's how he reacted.
Western Conference is a tough place. DeMarcus Cousins now apparently a Golden State Warrior. Looking for a reaction?
Now? Oh. Are you being?
I'm absolutely serious.
Well, it's the Western Conference. You know, we're all up for a challenge. That's why we're in the West. But we're focused on us, and we're just gonna keep playing games. We got a game tomorrow, so that's all we're focused on. One game at a time.
Thank you very much.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Oh my God. Can you believe it? This level.
Talking to our Kevin Arnovitz there, and really, yeah, Mark Spears joins us now, our friend from the Undefeated. And look, this is a guy you know well. This caught all of us off guard, including even you. So how did it happen? You spoke to him. What did he tell you?
It caught him off guard. You know, when he had his Achilles injury, there was some fear in the back of his mind that he might have a tough free agency in a market that wasn't that great. But he didn't expect no offers, Scott. He got no offers. He told me that I actually asked him about the New Orleans. He said GM Del Demps told him he didn't want him. So he was stunned. As free agency went on, nothing came. And he woke up this morning in Vegas, or not woke up, he couldn't sleep. He was up at 5 a.m. looking out his balcony in Las Vegas trying to figure out what to do. Called his agent, Jaron Akana, and said, you know what, I'm going to call the Warriors. I think he was considering some other teams at the time, but the Warriors was the main team on his mind. And you're Bob Myers. You pick up your phone, and it's probably got a Mobile, Alabama area code, and it's DeMarcus Cousins, and he probably was like, it's not him. But it sounded like him, and Cousins told him that he was interested in the mid-level exception, with probably, I can't wait to hear what Bob has to say about it when he could talk about it. But then he called Kevin Durant. He called Draymond Green, who's vacationing in Greece. He called Stephen Curry. And their excitement, their enthusiasm, Stephen Curry in particular, pushed him over the edge. And at about 8 a.m. Eastern time, he called Bob Myers and said, yes, I'm coming. I'm going to be your fifth All-Star. I'm joining the champs. DeMarcus Cousins is with the Warriors.
So here we are, and the beauty of this for him, I would think, is not just the situation that he's stepping into. And can you hear me? You got me, Mark? Did we lose you? Can you hear me?
Kinda.
Okay. The beauty of his situation is that he can rehab. They don't have to have him on the floor immediately, which means he can take his time. Does he have a timeline in mind for when he thinks he can be available?
Yeah, the beginning of training camp. Which is certainly shocking to a lot of people. I know a couple months ago I talked to him for the Undefeated, and he said he would be ready for training camp, and people probably didn't believe it. And he said, look, I know people probably think I just said it to try to help myself during free agency. It's not true. He said, I expect to be ready for the beginning of training camp. Now, if you look at his Instagram, he's posted on Twitter, he's posted a lot of videos of him running on a treadmill, doing things.